Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria, with your host, Maria Malik, experience coach, conscience educator, and destination retreat host, presents to you countless ways to overcome an overwhelmed, overprocessed, and over-medicated lifestyle. She'll be covering everything wellness, from getting more from life than you put into it, destination retreats to healthy cooking, and conscious education. So please welcome the host of Taking Healthy Back with Maria.
Thank you. Greetings, Wellness Seeker. Thanks for watching. I'm really glad you're here. Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm your host, Maria. Greetings, Wellness Seeker. I'm glad you're here to Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm your host, Maria Malik, and on this channel, you are going to hear simple ways to get to feeling better, more energized, and in control of your health so you can live your best life. The guests I bring on here are people who are doing the same thing, who want people in this world that we live in to be better and feel better. And there's not just one way. And all the different people that I have on have wonderful and beautiful gifts and skills to help you get your life back if that's where you're at. And there is no difference with our guest today, Darcey Hawkins. Today's theme is From Pain to Purpose, the I Choose Me movement. Darcey, welcome. How's it going?
It's going really well.
Oh, good. We can hear you. Wonderful.
Oh,
Wow.
yes, thank you.
I don't want to just have small chit chat here because after going through your site, whoa, you have beautiful and amazing gifts to offer this world. And I really want people to get to know who you are. So let's see if we could do that in the next 45 minutes. It's going to go fast. I promise you. So, Darcey, my first question, what's the pivotal moment that led you from practicing law to becoming a somatic healer and wellness coach? I mean, those are pretty diverse things to be going to from being an attorney. So I'd love to hear what got you here.
I wasn't an attorney. So
Oh, you weren't?
No.
Huh. Okay. Well, what got you to this point then? What's your, I don't know where I got that from. All right. Well, there you go. I'm human. This happens. So why don't you correct me and tell me still how you got to this space?
To this space was a very curved journey, if you will. It went, there was switchbacks and going from programming from a young age to looking at what I've been blessed with and how I can share it with other people. So as I continued on through my life, I learned different healing modalities and then just grouped it together as somatic healing.
Okay, right. So I have a friend who's a somatic therapist. I had her on. I'd love to hear your definition of somatic healing, somatic therapy, or whatever.
So I've been a massage therapist for 13 years, and during that time, it's body work, and but the origin of some of the issues are coming from within, and so we naturally respond to stress. And what is the origin of that stress? 9 times out of 10, it is coming from a traumatic experience, more often than not coming from childhood. And so I can massage till I'm blue in the face, but if we don't look at the origin of the issue and help heal that, bring it into your heart center, there's really everything just continues to hurt. So that's where it's healing from the inside out. So I don't know if I'm here, still alive, but it's looking at understanding how we need to heal from more from an Eastern medicine perspective. So I'm glad you're back.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know if you would notice that. What did I miss?
Going, I'm not sure. So it's looking at going from, being a massage therapist and working on bodies and understanding that the repetitive visits from these clients is
Okay.
that there's an issue within and the origin of the pain. And so it's not always a physical response, or to say, excuse me, it is a physical response to something traumatic that people have not addressed yet. And so that is the somatic healing part.
I am so in line with you. When I hear people say, "Oh, Maria, I'm eating better, I'm sleeping better, I'm, exercising, I'm doing all the things, but I still feel this way," that's when I go to that, because it's easier to change like the physical, the external things, than it is to get a person to say, "Oh yeah, I want to look at that." And
Right.
um, it's just so fascinating to me. And I was literally having this conversation with someone yesterday, explaining how emotion gets stuck in our body in different various places if it's not resolved. And the example I gave, and I don't mean to take up all the time here, but I think it's important for people to understand the context of what we're addressing. If someone says something to a 2-year-old and they don't understand, that still affected them. They didn't have the capability at that age to resolve it, or even to know that it needed resolving. Does that make sense? So now they're carrying that information from 2 years old. They could be 35 years old now. So I'm so happy that this practice is really emerging, and we're educating people on how to address our issues and not have lifelong suffering.
Absolutely. And the more that we heal ourselves, it rolls out that energy because we change and we become aligned with a higher frequency. And as we do that, wherever you live, if you live with family, it's going to roll out into the family. It's rolling out into your home. And then everybody is changing a little bit. And it was so evident during COVID. I'm raising my grandkids, or I was, they're adults now. I was raising my grandkids. COVID hit, no school, nobody has any answers, and I'm scared. And so everybody, I call it the heartbeat of the home. Everybody's heart was beating at a different pace, and there was no consistency within the home until I finally got my shit together, if you will, sorry. And then everybody came back in and we had a common heartbeat again. And it was protect everybody within. And so we were able to continue on in a more healthy way. And so that was just, experience right there.
I'm so happy you brought that up, because, and I'll say that because a lot of people I know, um, look at this whole frequency thing of it's voodoo, it's new age, whatever it is. First of all, we are in a new age. Secondly, we are electrical beings. Electrical things give off vibration and frequency. This is probably the hardest thing for people to wrap their brain around. So yeah, the whole, what do I have here? A question, the mind-body connection in healing. Your work emphasizes that the body is always adapting to the mind and external environment, which
yes.
I'm in agreement. How do you help clients understand and harness the power of this connection to transform their health? Do you first have to educate them on what's actually going on?
It's a little more subtle than that. So I created a program called the Unity Collective, and
Okay.
it is group healing. And the first pathway is looking at, do you feel comfortable sharing what's going on with people who could be strangers, knowing that it's a non-judgmental, it's a positive reflection, and we don't share it outside. So that's the first pathway. And as we go through that, it's looking at, what are you giving out, but you're not giving back to yourself? And so it's like, we're healing and we're loving, but we don't love ourselves. And so there's that disconnect. There's not a homeostasis. And it's bringing that's the journey of coming back in and understanding how we are causing our own suffering. So the entire program is based on Buddha's Four Noble Truths. Of the first three are suffering exists, we cause our own suffering, and we can stop our suffering. And then the fourth noble truth is about the Eightfold Path on how to make right choices to maintain that. And as we journey through that, we're just coming up to a year. And so the originals, I call them the OGs, are going to graduate from the program. And as they do, they're more in a homeostasis position where they're giving to themselves as much as they're giving outside of themselves. And so it's that understanding of that internal balance. And then they start looking at, how can I help heal more of myself? And how do I react to challenges that come up that I'm not continually suffering? So
I think what you just said is the whole premise of life. How
yes.
we coexist and how we adapt to our environment, to other people. And I love that when a house is in harmony, the heartbeat is in sync. That is just so beautiful. Um, okay, healing from hidden trauma. You help individuals with hidden disabilities and trauma. That's very
Mhm.
interesting. Never really heard of that before. What is the most common type of trauma you encounter, and how is your healing modality provide, how does it provide relief when conventional methods have not worked?
So
Mainstream, allopathic.
yeah, and it's true. So Western medicine, for the most part, is still locked into treating symptoms, not the causation of what is going on. And so the hidden disabilities are, and it's the WHO and the CDC call it, invisible disabilities. And so I call it hidden because they're not invisible. Those who
Right.
are suffering with it know it's there and we're hiding it. And I was one too. So I was molested at 10 and never told anybody. And so with that trauma, I hid in plain sight. I was a tomboy when I was little, and you know, I'm an elder. So I won't go into how old I am, but I'm an elder. And when I was young, I was outside collecting tadpoles and baby frogs. And I was outside all the time until I was molested. Then it was, I need to stay in the safety of my house and know that I have four walls around. I didn't consciously understand what I was doing. I just did it. And so that was the hide in plain sight. I didn't want, I was mainstream. I got good grades so that I wouldn't get in trouble, but not good
Right.
enough grades where people would put me and say, "Oh, we're going to give you an award." Oh, no, no, no. I don't want to be seen because then I can become a victim again. But none of this was registering, right? I just did it to survive. And so that is a hidden disability. And of course, I'm over that now to a degree because I'm here. But
Right.
that is hidden disabilities. What other behaviors have we created to keep ourselves safe?
Mm. Wow. Darcey, this is so good. We have a break, and I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties at the beginning.
It's all good.
I hope everyone's stuck with us. We have a commercial, and we'll be right back. Thanks.
I think that God had to redefine what his definition of leadership was.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the world's definition of leadership, very often it can be position or power or posture or position or and every time you look at how Jesus led, it was always servant-hearted leadership. And it's so
Servant leadership.
and it's like that means more to me as leadership. It started with me learning how to lead me well.
And I think leadership also means just being an example. Can you be a planner and still be flexible, a little carefree?
Absolutely. Listen, I am a planner who lives in an RV, travels the country full time, homeschools my kids, and runs a speaking and coaching business. I have four children, ages 6 months, 6 years, 8 years, and 12 years old. I have to be flexible, but I also have to plan. I have to know my schedule in advance. I have to visualize. I have to have a to do list. And I have to know that there's going to be some moments where things are going to get shifted. So I know what my non negotiables are every single day. I know what can be pushed out to another day or another week. And those are the things that you have to be clear on. What's non negotiable and what things can be shifted around and flexible.
Hey, you guys, welcome back. We're with Darcey Hawkins, and we're talking about somatic healing, essentially, without all the bells and whistles. So, last time we were talking and establishing pretty much what somatic healing is and emotions getting stuck in the bodies. Now I want to answer or ask you some fun questions. And this is right up my alley because I feel that, well, we're both very different women, but we have similarities in our approach to healing, which is so lovely and comforting to find another sister out there. So you support creating a supportive healing environment. You advocate for designing healing spaces at home or wherever you spend your time. And I'd love to hear this. I have my own ideas on practical tips on how to create a healing environment that supports, everything, our whole well-being, physical, emotional, spiritual, the whole kit and caboodle. So share some of your secrets about that.
Well, the first piece of the journey is, does the person know what they like? Have they gone in? Because there's a lot of people who
No,
have
most
put
not.
themselves on the back burners and don't know or lost their childhood for whatever reason, abuse, or they had a major trauma that, their parents divorced and then they had to take on the parent role. So they've never been a child to
Oh,
establish their likes and dislikes. So it's that dive in is what brings you comfort? What are you attracted
I
to?
love
And
that.
if it's
I mean,
based in philosophy,
it could also be that they see something in a magazine or they want to be like their neighbor, so then they never develop their own style. So
exactly.
keep going.
So it's identifying what resonates with you, what appeals, and you have to dip your toe into everything because everything is new because you've never explored it. And you have the advantage, disadvantage of coming in as an adult without that sense of wonder. So you have to pull the sense of wonder back in to look
Yes.
at it to see if it resonates. And then if it does, then follow that, research it. So it can be an altar where you, and an altar is simply putting things on in a place that
Right.
brings you joy. Yeah, and you can meditate there. It can be as simple as having detox baths, allowing yourself the time that this is your space to have a detox bath. And that's, I had to carve out that time when I was raising my grandkids. It's like the door's closed. Y'all are going to live, unless there's blood, then just give me 20 minutes in the
Or
bathtub.
broken bones.
Yes, yes. So if it's not a major catastrophe, we will fix it after my bath. And so
Absolutely.
it's granting ourselves that time.
Like that time when I didn't want to wake up my mom because I stepped on a piece of board with a nail in it and it was stuck in my foot. Yeah, I let her sleep. Um,
Yeah.
but let me, I had something to say about that and I went off on my childhood tangent. Um, all right, keep going. Maybe I'll think of it.
Well, and it's deciding what you're interested in, what brings you joy. And if it brings you joy, then do more of it. But until you figure out what it is, then there's no point, there's nothing that you can create. So it's going out and exploring, and it's okay. Recruit a friend if you feel embarrassed or you feel shame. It depends on what emotion's coming up, and that is another opportunity for healing as well. And to have someone, a mentor, a coach, a healer to accompany you on this journey, just a touchback and say, hey, this feels
Yeah.
awkward. And it's okay. It's okay to feel awkward. If you want to finger paint with shaving cream like the little ones used to, then do it,
Do it.
because it's your house, it's your place, and enjoy and find that joy.
And what I was going to say before, I just remembered everything that you're talking about is what I call passive wellness. That
Mm,
everything that you're doing is building, nurturing, and support you and your environment just by the choices, the daily choices you make, and why
mhm.
those choices are so important. And if you keep making all these supportive, uplifting, edifying choices, you're just maintaining passive wellness. You're not doing anything extra. You're not taking extra supplements or using extra tools or buying new products. You're just
Mhm.
doing it in your everyday life. And that it's so beautiful. And what I aim to do every day. I'm not perfect, but I'm telling you, it's just a better way of living. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
It,
And the
it
more
just
that we do that, we teach others. We're role models as well. So, how are we teaching those that are within our area of influence and impact?
right. And I find that a lot of people would rather not look at all the different aspects of themselves. But here's what I learned is that once you do that introspection, the first 10 times are kind of painful. But then once
Hmm.
you work through all of them, now you're building up that resilience.
Hmm.
And it gets easier. So the next time you have a situation, you could get through it quicker. I think we're meant to go through all these things, but we're not meant to stay there.
Exactly. I
And
call
even,
that feel your feels, but don't live there.
yeah,
So you can process it and release it, take the lessons from it because you need to, otherwise, it revisits you,
100%.
right?
Yes. And I also teach people that the brain doesn't know the difference between fact or fiction. Whether you're in a car accident or just watching a car accident, your body will respond the same. So if you're still reliving those past events, your body thinks you're still in it,
Exactly.
right? right?
Yes.
Okay, here's another question for you. Empower Me Nexus program. What is that all about?
That is individual one-on-one coaching. So
Okay.
the Unity Collective is the group healing. The Empower Me Nexus is the one-to-one where it's a taste with the Unity Collective. We dive and it's deep work, but sometimes people need to go deeper. And so then they'll move over into the Empower Me Nexus and it's one-on-one. And then I'll go into all of what I'm credentialed in and so forth, hypnotherapy, EFT, massage therapy,
Love
bringing the heat.
EFT.
Yeah. And so utilizing what I have, I'm a Reiki teacher, master teacher. And so bringing in all of those modalities based on the person in front of me to help them heal what needs to be healed. And so, or assisting them to heal themselves. I don't do the healing. And so
Yes. Yes.
that is the Empower Me Nexus is the one-on-one.
How, okay, for someone watching and they might feel like, hey, this sounds like something I'd like to do. At what point, let's say someone in your group collective
Mm-hmm.
says, this isn't enough. I need more, I need deeper. At what point are they triggered to do more? Or do they plateau and still feel crappy? So what's an indication that someone might need more now?
So the goal of everything that I do is to empower the person to recognize they are their own personal healer and that the
Love that.
everything is built on what I call the infinite healing principles, which takes them from principle 1, which is holistic wellness, to principle 8, where they're a lifelong learner who learn about different modalities that are going to support their own healing. Because I'm not the be all and end all in their healing journey. I am just the spark, the catalyst to get them going. So the Unity Collective is designed that they go through 4 pathways, and at the end of the 4th pathway, they get kind of kicked out of the nest. And depending on how comfortable they are, I'll continue to work with them, but ultimately they have to go fly on their own. And if they want to circle back and work with me on a one-on-one or a different way of working with me, absolutely. But they have to try to do
Sure.
this on their own with the skills that they have developed. And so it's like raising my grandkids. I was there holding their hand when they were young, when they were teenagers. Of course, they didn't want me. And now as they're young adults, I hover. And so if they need help with adulting, they'll reach out, I'll help, then I'll step back and hover again. So that's the same concept with the people that I work with.
That is so beautiful. And gosh, I am so happy to meet me because you're actually a confirmation to me that my approach is extremely similar to yours in many aspects. And that this is a good thing and I'm on the right path because I believe
Yes.
we're messengers, Darcey, I believe. And,
Yes.
you know, I believe the divine is gathering apostles or disciples, so to speak. You know what I mean? And there's someone for everyone. Not everyone's
Mhm.
going to resonate with you. Not everyone's going to resonate with
Yep.
me. And
Yep.
wow, this is so good. I hope people are getting benefit from this.
I
And
hope so.
yeah, this is so beautiful. What a beautiful confirmation. I don't feel like I'm alone in the ether anymore.
And no,
And
you're not. There are more of us out there, right? And so we're the catalyst for people to own their own healing and then step into their gifts so that they can go out and spread this as well. So
yeah,
I create little vortexes in the individual who go
love
out
it.
and then start spinning and share their brilliance with whoever resonates with them. And then if they don't meet what they're looking for, they can refer them back to me, refer them to you, because everybody has their own niche. And
Yeah,
so it's important
yeah,
that there's no competition. We all work together to help heal as many people as we can, or to help people heal themselves. And that
right.
is the importance.
Gosh, I feel like I want to make a directory of all the people that I've interviewed. I've done I think like 55 interviews so far since I started. And I should just make a directory of all the people, because the people I'm presenting through this platform are people that I don't know you, but I feel like I know you. And because of who referred you, I already trust you. Does that make sense? And I want people to feel the same, like, oh, well, if Maria, would use this person, then I trust that referral. And Darcey, we got another break, so we'll be right back.
Okay.
Instead of taking a toxic pill to help with erections or, for sexual health, I encourage men to start really changing the diet so we can start clearing out some of this lymphatic stuff out of the lymphatic system. This help opens up the blood vessels and widens them to get the blood flow so they can maintain and sustain a good erection. In addition to that, using like watermelon and also juicing the watermelon skin itself, because this has citrulline in it, and this is also an amino acid that helps with this as well. That a question a lot too. So so usually I am a plant-based athlete. So I am a power lifter, and I eat, fruit, juice, and plants. And I usually have juice for breakfast every day, and then I eat a whole food plant-based diet throughout the day. And yes, I do have sweets and treats and snacks and stuff at times, but overall, I would say my nutrition is pretty good, and I do eat more holistically. And I feel like that's why, I've reversed aging and I don't have any sickness, disease, or medications, and I feel great.
Same with me. I love everything that you're saying. It's given me a revived motivation to do more of it. Hey, Wellness Seeker. Glad you're back. We're talking with Darcey Hawkins and self-healing. That's what I'm known for. I'm sure that's probably what you're known for. And well, let me ask this. I feel that in the past, I have been chasing the wrong people. I've been chasing people who are sick and really don't have a desire to remedy it other than taking medication or, being under the care of a physician without really getting any better. Who's your client? Is it someone who's already optimizing their life, or someone who is at a dire diagnosis and now they're going to do whatever they can? Who are we talking to?
So that's a little, for me, it's a little complex. So I'm very spiritual. And so I know that the divine is going to put people in my awareness that is going to resonate with what I do. And so they have to be ready to take that step, because if they're not ready, then there's no point. And so when we're looking at the collective healing, the group healing, everybody has to be kind of at the same resonance where they want to move forward. And then they come in because they form a cohort, and they stay with this cohort for a year. And in that, they're developing relationships with people who understand their healing journey and hopefully become lifelong supports, however that support looks like. And so now you're talking to someone who wants to hear what's going on instead. Well, why aren't you over that already? Right. And so it's those people who are ready to take that step. And it can be an ugly step, but know that you're always supported. And so the other part is that it's kind of probably not not proper business etiquette, if you will, but it's like throwing the energy out there, and it's going to resonate with the people that it's supposed to. And so as what we do and how we phrase it, what we offer as a free product is that entice someone to get into my energy. And it does, and then I can share, and it either plants a seed, it irritates the crap out of them, but it still plants that seed, or they want to work with me in some form or way, and then that is what I'm supposed to do with that individual. So I put my trust in that process with Creator.
I love it.
I want to go back to your directory. So we are so alike. It's really kind of, it's synchronicity, right? It's serendipity.
Right.
So part of what I do is also looking at holistic practitioners and support them in their business ventures because they're really good at what they do and what they offer. Small business may not be their thing. And so I've started a holistic healing alliance that started in July. We just had our first event. It's called the Taste of Wellness. And
Okay.
with the Taste of Wellness, for all the vendors that came in and all the members of this alliance went into a wellness directory. So the wellness directory is free on our website. And so people, the general public, can look at it and say, hey, there's a sound healer in my area. There is a massage therapist in my
Oh,
area.
love it.
So, available. So if you create your directory and you put it wherever you're going to put it, that it gives to the community in so many different ways, but it also brings the people who want to work with you into your energy. So it's a dual focus tool. So, and
Well,
then,
for me,
yeah,
it would actually be I could go to your directory and find guests for my show because I'm looking for the same kind of energy. Oh my gosh, Darcey.
everybody who's in that directory, I don't remember. There's 18 members. We just had our first membership meeting last night. It was a potluck, and it was like, holy cow! The energy of these women. Right now, it's just women, and not all the members showed up, but everybody has the same desire to help the public, help each other, and bring up holistic wellness as a equal to allopathic medicine.
Okay, well, we're going to have to talk more about all of that off
Mm,
this podcast.
mhm.
So, the Unity Collective, how many people are in it? Is it a subscription type deal? You said it's a year long. Does a person have to commit to the year? Does anyone ever drop out? Give me the
Yes.
details.
So cohort comes together based on the desire to start their own personal healing. They step into it and it may be overwhelming for them, so they step out, which is fine because not everybody's ready. There's no more than 8 people in there because over 8 is too many people, too much energy. Ideally, minimum is 3 because you need that kind of energy. And I'm the fourth of that, and to facilitate it. And so you start off with the first cohort of getting to know each other, or the first pathway to get to know each other. And the option is always, if you don't want to stay, you don't have to, but everybody says yes and moves into the second pathway where they look at the first 3 noble truths. They process all of that. They understand that they're the cause of their suffering. They want to make right choices. So they move into the third pathway. And so then they get exposed to all Buddha's sermon. And I always share is that Buddha did his sermon to his monks to spread that out, but they never brought it in. And so the purpose of the collective is to bring all this healing in so that we become our better selves. The fourth pathway is integration. It's looking at, okay, you've grown over the past year, almost, yeah, it's a year. And now you're looking at how do you integrate these things that we have learned? What are you suffering with? And the time frame of reacting to the suffering has shortened considerably to the point where now they're expanding spiritually and looking at their own zone of brilliance and how do they share it outside. And so this is how, and then the alliance is the normal offshoot of that, where everybody is coming in and how do I share my giftedness, my gifts from Creator to others who this may resonate with.
Now, what's the alliance called again?
The Holistic Healing Alliance.
You know what? I want to say I think I've heard of this. It sounds very familiar, but is there a fee to belong to? Because if there's any practitioners on here who'd like to be a part of it, is there a fee for the Holistic Healing
It's
Alliance?
right now it's $30 a year.
Oh, gosh.
It,
Okay.
it's nominal, right? And that is on purpose, is because we want people to come in and understand part of the alliance is philanthropic activities. So we want to give back. to the community. So, we're going to offer basically donation for Reiki healing. We're going to put on different events to bring this awareness, just making a little bit of profit because we need to have some funds to function, right?
So you're going to have
So,
more in-person events, right?
yes.
Okay, good. I'm really sick of the virtual events. That's just
Mhm.
me, and it's got to be really good if I'm going to be a part of it
Yeah.
right now. Um, so this is beautiful. I already have a handful of people that I'm going to, direct towards the alliance. This is
Oh, thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I don't even start my own directory and I just direct people to this. It's already established. You already have it going. If you want more contribution to the alliance, I would just sooner take my efforts and put them towards this instead of recreating the wheel. What do you
I,
think?
I, I'm getting from spirit that you should have your own too,
Okay.
and then if you don't mind having a link to put them, to send them to our website, that would be great too, so an affiliate link type of thing. But
Sure.
because we cover more area if you do yours and I do mine, and then it
Okay.
overlaps at the same time. So I call it the tapestry of life, and
Love
that
it.
each of us on this tapestry, you and me and others who are doing this kind of work, we have our own spots, and it spreads out kind of like you would put a drop of watercolor onto watercolor paper, and it just spreads. That's
Right,
what
right,
we're
right.
doing with, right? And so
I
as
love
I
it.
do my wellness directory, it spreads this way, and then you do yours, and it spreads that way, and then it overlaps and
Okay.
creates a different color. Yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm always looking to do a little less work, but once it's established, it's really not a whole lot of work.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
being honest with you. That's
Hey,
how
I get it.
that's how I raised 5 kids. I couldn't do it all myself. I had to empower them. You know,
Yes,
it was
yes.
well worth it. And it looked well. We have 3 more minutes before our next break. So, okay, here's another question about the community. If a person joins, can I join now or do you wait and start at January for a new collective, for a year-long
No,
collective?
I don't bring people into established cohorts because they've already journeyed and established trust.
Right,
So
right, right.
you would start in your own cohort, and I would need at least 3 people before a new one starts. And then I would just start when I got that third person based on when everybody's available. Do you want it virtual? Do you want it in person? And so it's just meeting their needs so that they feel comfortable from the get go to start sharing.
Right. And where are you located?
I'm in Spanaway, Washington, which is south of Seattle.
Wow. Okay. Well, it won't be in person for me, but definitely someone in your area because I'm all the way down in Florida. We're like opposite.
Yeah, I was
Um,
admiring your tank tops and your tan.
yeah. Is there a cost to join a collective cohort?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways to join a cohort. And that is the first one, you can pay $15 a session. And the first one is 8 sessions, and then subsequent ones are 10. So it's $15. It's, again, a nominal fee to get in. Or you
Sure.
can join my membership, and that is being created right now. And the
Okay.
membership is $79 a month, and you get
How much?
access to
How much?
79.
7. Okay.
And so the 79 and of course the processing fee, what I don't know what it is.
Sure.
And you get access to me during office hours. You get free Unity Collective. You get discounts on the services that I offer. 15% off on everything that I do, from massage, not hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is 50% off if you're a member. And so you have access to me in that container and everything that I do, kind
Right.
of like on call type of scenario. But the structure of this membership is that I am the front business in front of a business building. And so if you walk through my office door, you can walk out my virtual office door and go into the rest of the building where there's at least 25 other people who are sharing their own magic, and you get access to that for free. And so it is a powerful, yeah, it's a powerful membership. And these people in this collaborative, it's the Mingle Learning Collaborative, they have the same heart center as we do. So
What's it called? What's the collaborative?
It's a Mingle Learning Collaborative.
Oh, I think I've seen Mingle. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
We have another break, Darcey, and when we come back, we're going to wrap it up. So think of some closing ideas to share.
Okay.
Instead of taking a toxic pill to help with erections or, for sexual health, I encourage men to start really changing the diet so we can start clearing out some of this lymphatic stuff out of the lymphatic system. This help opens up the blood vessels and widens them to get the blood flow so they can maintain and sustain a good erection. In addition to that, using like watermelon and also juicing the watermelon skin itself, because this has citrulline in it, and this is also an amino acid that helps with this as well. And yes, I will tell people when people say that to me, guys, the entire point of juicing is to absolutely remove the fiber. And the reason for this is because when we are extracting the fiber, we're making it so the body does not have to go through the digestion process, meaning when you consume it, especially on an empty stomach, it gets absorbed into the bloodstream within about 15 minutes of consumption. So it's really important to understand that yes, you are taking the fiber out, and that is the entire point of juicing. Now, if you want to have some of the fiber in there, sure, you can leave some of the pulp in there. It's totally your preference. I personally do strain my juices because I don't like any of the pulp or chunks in there, but you can also repurpose the pulp. So when you have the pulp there after you juice, I recommend you can freeze them into like ice trays, and then you could pop them into smoothies later for that additional nutrient boost.
Welcome back, Wellness Seeker. I hope you stuck around for this whole conversation. I know we did a little bit of business, but truly, if you are in a space where you don't know where to go, maybe you can give Darcey a shout out and she can help get you clarity and maybe get you into the community. Sounds so exciting to me. I want to build something like this. So you're actually a role model for me to get that going. Darcey, do you have any closing thoughts or encouragements, tips? Something do you have where they can get to know you better?
They can reach out to me on my website and reach out to connect. I do discovery calls and just kind of assess. And of course, it depends on location. The majority of the work that I do can be done virtually. Of course, massage, you need to actually be laying on my massage table. So, but it's the piece is to prioritize yourself without apology. And that is a journey all by itself because there's so much guilt, depending on how old you are, right? I have my granddaughter who just turned 20. She is very much healing in real time. And so we store stuff forever, for decades, and then we start pulling it out and looking at it going, well, no, I don't want to look at that. I'm going to put it away, and then bring it out again because Spirit says you're going to look at it now and you're going to take care of it. And so it's prioritizing ourselves. And when we make a decision, are we including ourselves in that decision? So if you're part of the fam and you're going to get pushback, you will get pushback because everybody is used to how you behave before. And if you're trying to heal into who you authentically are, they're not going to like it because they're no longer the priority. Hard as it is, you have to love yourself more than you love anybody else. And that includes your children. And that's a hard thing to do.
Sure
and
is.
so, yeah, so I do the analogy is that for most part, we are the host when we're hosting game night, right? Whatever the game is being played, everybody has a seat at the table except us. We're bringing in drinks, we're bringing in food, we're making sure everybody is comfortable, but we don't get to play. And so now it's, hey, everybody has 2 hands and feet. You can get up and get your own stuff, and I want to play too. And that I have a right to be at that game table.
Sure.
So if we look at our choices and our actions, are we putting ourselves at the game table, or are we falling back into being host because that feels comfortable and we don't feel guilty? Right? So
well, I also think, and I don't know where it happened on the timeline, where it was a bad thing to take care of yourself. You know, people are shamed, like, oh, you're selfish. And you know what? Most of the world right now is in fight or flight and survival. And you know, what do they say? Put your mask on before you put it on someone else. So
yes.
this is so essential and needed more than ever. And it doesn't have to be weird and woo woo. You know, we live in the real world. We're not off the grid. I shave my armpits. You know, I'm not living in the jungle or anything like that. And Darcey and I both are handling real life situations. And it's just such a beautiful thing to come together. And I really hope you share this video with your friends. We're at the end of our time right now, Darcey. It's been a wonderful conversation. Can't wait to take it beyond this. And if you're watching, please like this video, share it with someone who would find this information helpful to them, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I would love to see more of you on there. And with that, thanks for showing up today. And Darcey, it was a pleasure and an honor. We'll see y'all next week.
This has been Taking Healthy Back with your host, Maria. Tune in each week as Maria will empower you to put your wellness in your control. Right here, Fridays, noon Eastern, on the Bold Brave TV network.